Look around. The people you see, the voices you hear, the lives you think matter, they will all vanish. Every memory, every face, every achievement, every whispered promise will dissolve into the silence of time, and that includes you. You were born to be forgotten. Not eventually, not maybe, not someday, but from the moment you drew your first breath, your existence began a slow decay toward irrelevance. And yet, you fight it. You cling to recognition, to love, to meaning. You seek validation, achievements, approval, as if these could anchor you against the tide of oblivion. But they cannot. Every accolade fades. Every relationship dissolves. Every story you leave behind is eventually swallowed by the relentless silence. The universe does not remember. History does not remember. Even those who claim to care will forget, just as they were forgotten themselves. Ask yourself, why does this terrify you? Because recognition, meaning, and memory are illusions we cling to in order to mask the void. From the cradle, you are taught to believe your life matters, that your presence can leave a mark, that love and attention can immortalize you. But it's all temporary. Every smile, every tear, every triumph is a ripple on the surface of a vast, indifferent ocean. And eventually, every ripple disappears. Even your most intimate relationships, the people you think define you, who you call family, friends, lovers, will continue without you. They will tell stories that leave you in, and over time, even those stories will fade. Eventually, the world will proceed as if you never existed, and the emptiness of your absence will be indistinguishable from the emptiness before you were born. And yet, you crave significance. You chase attention, accumulate possessions, craft identities, as if these could stave off irrelevance. You convince yourself that your legacy matters, that your mark on the world can endure. But every legacy is a shadow. It flickers, it decays. Even monuments crumble. Even words, carved in stone or inked in books, fade, rot, and are forgotten. Have you noticed how time erases everything? Friends you once could not live without, people you thought would stand by you forever, dreams you swore were eternal. They vanish, faces blur, names slip, stories are rewritten or discarded. You are left with a haunting awareness. You were never central, never indispensable, never remembered beyond a fleeting moment. You were born to fade. And yet, the cruelty is not in forgetting. It is in the illusion that you matter. You are taught from birth to believe in your importance. Society sells you the idea that you are special, unique, irreplaceable. Every advertisement, every story, every lesson tells you that your existence counts. But when the applause fades, when the lights dim, when the world moves on, you are confronted with the unflinching truth. None of it endures. Even memory is selective. Even those who claim to remember will distort, embellish, or misplace your story. And eventually, they too will vanish, leaving nothing behind, not even a trace. And when that moment comes, when the final recollection dissolves, it will be as if you never existed at all. Not cruelly, not maliciously, simply inevitably. Ask yourself, what is the meaning of life when life itself is destined to be forgotten? When every achievement, every relationship, every act of courage or love is a brief flare in the darkness, extinguished before it can touch eternity. The truth is brutal. Meaning is manufactured. Importance is manufactured. And the only constant is oblivion. Some will try to cheat the inevitable. They will chase fame, wealth, or notoriety, believing these can secure a place in memory. But fame is fleeting. Wealth is inherited, spent, or forgotten. Notoriety becomes legend, and legend becomes myth. Myth becomes obscurity, and obscurity becomes silence. Nothing resists the slow decay of time. You cannot escape it. You cannot fight it. You were born to be forgotten. Even your inner world, the thoughts, dreams, desires you guard so carefully, will not endure. Your mind, once vibrant and alive, will dim with age, memory will falter, and eventually consciousness will cease. All the moments you lived, all the feelings you experienced, all the truths you held, erased. And for what? Nothing. Only the slow, impartial embrace of the void. And yet, you still resist. You still hope. You still dream of immortality through impact, through influence, through recognition. But the universe is indifferent. Time is impartial. Memory is fragile. Even the greatest among us, whose names echo through history, were once forgotten by the world that birthed them. And after a while, even history forgets. Ask yourself this now. What will you cling to knowing the truth? Will you continue to seek validation, to build a legacy, to invest in illusions of permanence? Or will you confront the inevitability that you were born to be forgotten and find freedom in it? Freedom from expectation, freedom from fear of judgment, freedom from the crushing weight of needing to matter. Because in accepting oblivion, in staring into the vast silence that awaits every life, you find something paradoxical. Without the burden of permanence, every moment becomes yours. Every experience, fleeting and ephemeral, gains intensity precisely because it will not last. The fact that you will be forgotten does not diminish existence. It sharpens it, isolates it, exposes it in all its raw, unadulterated reality. The world does not remember. It will not pause. It will not care. But you are alive now, in this fleeting pulse of time, suspended between birth and erasure. And that, in itself, is enough to confront, enough to observe, enough to feel. Because soon everything else will vanish, and you will be left with this awareness, stark, terrifying, liberating. You were born to be forgotten. The realization hits like a cold wind. Everything you do, everything you are, everything you believe matters will eventually dissolve. And the weight of that truth is not meant to crush you. It is meant to strip away the illusions, the pretense, the desperate need to be remembered. Because the world does not pause. It does not mourn. It does not care. You are ephemeral, and so is everything around you. Even the memories you think define you, the stories of childhood, the victories, the heartbreaks, are fragile constructs in the minds of others. They shift, distort, fade, and vanish. One day, Even the echoes of laughter that once filled rooms will disappear, replaced by silence. And you will understand, painfully, that to cling to memory is to cling to sand slipping through your fingers. Ask yourself, why do we fear this more than death itself? Perhaps because forgetting is a slow, lingering annihilation. It is the erasure of all trace, all recognition, all evidence that you existed at all. Death may come abruptly, but forgetting, true oblivion, creeps quietly, consuming every monument, every story, every mark you left behind. And nothing can stop it. You might try to cheat it. Fame, wealth, art, achievements, these are the illusions of permanence. You believe they will grant immortality, etch your presence into history, or secure memory beyond your life. But time is indifferent. It erodes monuments, rewrites stories, and lets legends fade. Even the greatest minds, the most celebrated artists, the most revered leaders, they all succumb. Their names endure only as shadows of shadows, and even those fade into obscurity. And yet, there is a paradox here, sharp and unforgiving. Once you accept that you are destined to be forgotten, a peculiar freedom emerges. Without the crushing weight of expectation, without the desperate need for recognition, an airy moment becomes yours to experience fully. Pleasure, pain, love, despair. All are heightened by the knowledge that they are fleeting. Impermanence sharpens perception. Oblivion intensifies existence. The people you love will forget you. The world will forget you. And in that inevitability lies liberation. You no longer need to perform, to impress, to justify your existence. You no longer need the approval of others, the validation of society, the illusion of legacy. You exist, here and now, between birth and erasure, and that is the only truth that matters. Even identity, that fragile construct you have built with care, is impermanent. Your name, your role, your reputation, all are borrowed, temporary, and subject to decay. Strip them away, and what remains is pure consciousness, raw awareness, witnessing itself against the backdrop of a universe that will not remember. That is the void you face, the truth you cannot escape. You were born to be forgotten. Ask yourself this: how does it feel to exist in a universe that does not remember? Does it terrify you? Does it anger you? Does it fill you with despair? Or can you, for a moment, simply observe it, the relentless impartial erasure of all things, and find a strange paradoxical clarity in its inevitability? Even love, the thing we often believe can immortalize us, cannot resist time. Hearts will break, faces will blur, words will be forgotten. Connections, no matter how profound, are fleeting in the grand sweep of existence. And still, we chase them. Still, we hope. Still, we cling to the belief that someone, somewhere will remember. But they will not. And even if they do, memory is fragile, susceptible to distortion and decay. Yet, acknowledging this does not require despair. To understand that you are born to be forgotten is to see life stripped of illusion, stripped of false permanence, stripped to its barest, most honest core. It allows you to inhabit each moment fully, to experience every sensation, to feel every emotion with a depth that the pursuit of legacy cannot provide. You are free to exist for yourself, unshackled by the impossible weight of eternal remembrance. And there is a haunting beauty in this, the fleetingness of life, the inevitability of forgetting, the impermanence of all things. These are not weaknesses. They are the conditions under which intensity exists. The more ephemeral the moment, the more vivid it becomes. The more destined to vanish, the more precious it feels. Oblivion is the shadow that gives shape to light, the silence that frames music, the emptiness that defines presence. Ask yourself now, will you live chasing memory and recognition, or will you embrace the truth of your impermanence? Will you continue to fight the inevitable, to cling to illusions of lasting significance, to pretend the world will pause for you? Or will you step into the raw, unflinching clarity that comes with accepting your fate? Because the world will move on. Names will fade. Achievements will dissolve. Stories will vanish. And you, who sought to matter, will be forgotten. There is no exception. There is no escape. Only acceptance remains. And in that acceptance, paradoxically, you find life. Not the life measured in permanence, fame, or memory, but the life that exists purely in consciousness, awareness, and experience. The life that is yours, fleeting, ephemeral, unclaimed by history, untouched by expectation. You were born to be forgotten. That is the truth that cannot be avoided, that cannot be denied, that cannot be softened. And in facing it, you find clarity. In acknowledging it, you find freedom. In living through it, you find intensity. So embrace it. Let go of the desperate need to matter. Let go of the illusion of permanence. Live fully in the knowledge that oblivion is inevitable. And in that knowledge, see life more sharply than ever before. Because one day, everything will vanish, and nothing will remain. But until that dawn, you are alive, and that is enough. This is Philospiral.